Okay, well, I promised you a quiz every Friday, so we'll have a quiz. Okay, first of all, what are the components of the vector r? We have the vector r. It's in the xy plane, so the z component is clearly going to be 0. And what's the x component? Well, starting from the tail and going to the tip, it's in a positive direction, so it's going to be positive. And we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares over in the x direction, so it should be a plus 5 in the x direction. The y component is negative, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so it's going to be a negative 9, 0. And as one observant student pointed out, this really ought to have units. And so my bad, I should have put units on it. You should have put meters on it. So those are the components of the vector r. Now this vector r is equal to the relative position vector r proton minus r electron. Okay, so there's a proton at one end and the electron at the other end. Remember that this is always final minus initial. So this is the thing at the tip of the relative position vector, and that's the thing at the tail of the relative position vector. So there must be a proton here and an electron here. And that means that if we need to draw r sub e, the position vector of the electron relative to the origin, it would be that vector going from the origin to the location of the electron. And of course, this other vector would be r sub p, right? Okay. What is the magnitude of r? Well, that's what you needed your calculator for. The magnitude of r was, of course, the square root of 5 squared plus a negative 9 squared plus a 0 squared. In this case, you might or might not have written the 0. That's OK. And that comes out to 10.3 meters. And you do need units on this. It does need to have a meters on it. What is the unit vector r hat pointing in the direction of, what is the unit vector r hat? Well, it's a vector pointing in the same direction as r, but it only has magnitude 1. In this case, the magnitude of r is a little more than 10 meters, so this thing is going to be kind of short, isn't it? But it'll be parallel to r, and it's said to draw it at 0, 3, 0. So it's going to be, if this is one grid square here, it's going to be something like that, r hat. And of course, the magnitude of any unit vector is 1. Questions? Okay. If you could do this, good. If not, you need to fix it, because we're going to be using vectors as a tool all the time. So if you miss something, figure out what it is you missed, figure out what was wrong, and make sure you understand it.